It is a freakishly beautiful day today. By the way, don't walk on the ramp when there's snow on it. We had snow yesterday, and it snowed for a little while and then stopped, and it was just warm enough to melt the snow here in the driveway, but you still got a little snow in the grass and out in the road. So there's a few places where there's still some snow out. I want to bring the Rambler out of the garage. I'm going to kind of look at it and talk about it, and then I want to do some work in the garage today. So I think I'll go ahead and cut the heat pump on. I bought a propane shop heater yesterday, and I'm curious to try it out too. So I think what I'm going to do is just crank the Rambler. See, I pulled it out in the snow yesterday to take pictures. That's why it's got all those drops of water on it. I think I'll crank it and bring it out, and then maybe talk a little bit about the Poppy's Patina. I'm gonna stick you. I've got that magnetic camera, so I can basically do this. I can stick you right there while I back the car out. By the way, the Rambler is running great. I'm very happy. I'm really enjoying driving it. I feel like just driving the wheels off of it. I may play with the front tires. The tires I have on here have a little vibration around 60, but when you get above 60, that comes out of it. And if you're driving it on, like all the interstates nowadays, you have to run about 80 miles an hour to keep them getting run over. So if you wanted to drive it out on the open road, that'd be okay. But the tires I have are those little, they're kind of like Baby Moons. They're like Chrome Reverse Baby Moons, but they don't call them that. They call them Smoothies, Chrome Smoothies. They came out with those a few years ago, and that's what was on this car when I bought it. And they're a little smaller than the tires I got on here. The Kragers I got on the front of this car, Mrs. Heavy Chevy gave me, and I drove up and got them. And I wish I'd had time to visit more. I've thought about just going back up to see them, because I know they got some other things they're working on, but they're really good people. And they're fun to hang out with, and I wouldn't mind just going up and hanging out with them, taking the Rambler up. That would give me a chance to get it out on the road and run it some. But that's beside the point. I'm thinking I might try those Chrome Smoothies on the front of it, just see how they look, because they would have the front end be a little lower, which I like. I know a lot of guys around here are into dragsters, and there's a lot of straight axle front end cars, and on those the front end sits up, and that shifts the weight to the back for drag racing. But I kind of grew up on the look of the 70s when guys would jack up the back and let the front be lower, and those smaller tires do kind of lower the front of this car a little bit. Anyway, let me back it out of here, and I'll get that heater running, and we'll talk about this Poppy's Patina paint job. I'll go ahead and turn this heater on. I've also got a heater I'm working on over here. I took one of those little Mr. Buddy or Mr. Heater heaters apart the other day. I'm still working on that. Close this down. So the Poppy Patina worked out good in a lot of ways, but there are certain things that's good to know about it. One is that how you apply it will affect how it's going to look. So the best way I could get it, put it on fairly heavy. I got a big sponge. I would wet one side of it, and I would hold the dry side and just run it down the fenders and just kind of lay it on thick. And of course when you do that, you have to watch for runs. So if you like go over the side, you're going to get runs down the side. Another mistake I made was I wet sanded this between coats, which was good, but that final wet sanding, when you wet sand this, it'll scratch it a little, and you can see scratch marks. Actually, you can see them in the side of the car here. And up here, I came along with my rag and I wiped it, but I didn't do the center because I ran out. I didn't have, I put many coats of that stuff on here, but I ran out after I realized that I just really needed one more coat. What I'm thinking about doing is getting me a can of spray clear coat and just taping off the top of the car and just clear coating the sides, because the top of the car looks pretty good. Like that trunk lid right there, got water on it, but that's a good shiny look on that trunk lid. Actually the top of the car looks good, except for in the part where I didn't have enough to do that last final coat. And the hood looks real good. So probably I went in and read, and they said not to polish it and not to wet sand it, and I'm sure they meant, you know, as a final. A lot of people will wet sand something as a final, after a final coat, just to smooth it down and shine it up, like buffing it. Anyway, all in all though, I like to look better than before, so I'm going to call it good enough. Yeah, like I say, when the weather warms up, I'll get me a couple of cans of clear coat and we'll just do the sides of the car. See how that looks.